In a galaxy far, far away, there is a tale of the legend of the Skywalker. And I'm here to tell you, it gets a little dark. So dark, I had to come back from the grave. Join us as we do a review of my resurrection. What's up, guys? This is your boy Emrod. Welcome back to the Empire. How you guys living? Good? Alright. Yeah, obviously, I'm not a bad guy. Don't call the police or the Jedi. I'm just a huge fan. I mean, you guys should know by now I'm a huge fan of Star Wars. I mean, you see it every time behind me, so it's just I just couldn't hold this off any longer, because me being a true Star Wars fan, I had to see the movie right away. I had to see how this trilogy closed out. And all right, let's just get to it. Obviously, what I'm talking about is the new Star Wars, Rise of Skywalker. Is directed by J.J. Abrams, who I really think did a really great job on this movie. Because I'm just gonna give like general what I think about the movie before I get to the spoilers, because it's kind of hard. It's kind of hard not to talk about this movie without any spoilers. So don't worry, I'm not gonna get to them yet. But I should warn you that if you're watching this video, I suggest that you go watch the movie first, because one, it's worth it. Two, I don't want to ruin Star Wars for you. And three, well, obviously, why wouldn't you want to watch Star Wars? I mean, come on. So, my general first thoughts about the movie, like, I'm so glad they got all the characters back together again. Happy to see Rey, happy to see Finn, BB-8. I think BB-8 is probably the most I was happy for. I mean, because he's adorable little droid. I mean, come on. And I'll tell you one character that surprised me, C-3PO. I'll tell you later why, but all throughout the Star Wars franchise, I don't think he was kind of annoying to me. Like, it's not like he wasn't useful. Like, he was useful, definitely in this movie, and I'll tell you later. But yeah, I mean, he's grown on me in this one. And Chewie, I always love Chewie. Chewie's the main Wookiee of our hearts, if we're completely honest with each other. So, but yeah, and they did have Princess Leia in this one. Just trying to think, who else did I just miss? What's his name? Poe Dameron. Yeah, he for me, Poe Dameron was all right, you know, in the first two movies to me, but in this one he really grew on me. So R2's in there, obviously. Hold on. I guess some people don't like R2. But anyways, the movie was great. It had a... I'll be honest, it wasn't... The flow of it wasn't the greatest. That's the one big flaw that I have with it. Gripe with it. But it was still a good movie nonetheless. Like, I felt like maybe they, like, had some parts where they could have, like, sped it up, you know, move the story along. But I felt like there's also some parts where they moved it too fast along. So maybe, you know, that's just my opinion. But but overall, before I get into spoilers, overall, I think I'm thinking about it more. I think this might be my favorite out of this trilogy. I gotta be honest. I think it is. And then Force Awakens, and then Last Jedi. Like, I love Last Jedi, but it's like not that I didn't have too many gripes with it. It's just I don't know. It just didn't feel like most of the things, like some Star Wars fans know what I'm talking about. It just didn't feel like some things were complete. But I believe in this movie they explain it. They explain a lot of it. So forewarning, if you're gonna stick around with this video, I hope you've watched the movie already, because I'm gonna give you my take about the plot, characters, all that jazz. So I'll wait until you watch the movie and then come back. Did you watch it? I hope you did. Was it worth it? Oh, that's good news. Okay, so how the movie starts off is Kylo Ren, and basically what he's doing, okay, just to clear up one thing from Last Jedi, what he's doing is somehow he got the found a way to go to a specific planet where the Sith have been in hibernation, so to speak, but they just get it out of the way already. Like, if you watch the trailer, you know one of the biggest shocking things about that trailer was you hear Palpatine's laugh. And yes, Emperor Palpatine is in this movie. Kylo Ren, if you remember in Last Jedi, he's the one that killed Snoke, and the reason he did that because he wanted to be Supreme Leader. And so the reason why he went to the Sith planet, I can't remember the name, and it was like in the far outreaches of the galaxy where nobody really goes. But Kylo Ren's main goal was to destroy all the Sith so that he could be the Supreme Leader. And he had heard that Emperor Palpatine is alive. I think he heard it through in a whisper, like a Force whisper, like it was the voice of Palpatine talking to him, and Palpatine wanted him to come find him. Ben had an agenda to kill him, but he didn't want to just go like outright just kill him. He just wanted to like kind of manipulate Palpatine so that he can take him by surprise, like he did Snook, but in a more different way. So basically, he finds the Emperor on this planet. He makes a deal with Kylo Ren, saying that you need to kill the Last Jedi. You need to kill Rey, so that you can be Supreme Leader of the Final Order. Basically, the Final Order is the First Order on steroids. Palpatine just like showed him that he had been planning a final army, like a final all-out battle, and over 1,000 Star Destroyers rose from the sea, because it was like a sea. That is a big thing that the Resistance has to deal with later on. We cut to Poe, Chewie, Finn, and BB-8 in the Millennium Falcon, and they gather some evidence on how to find the Sith planet, because they've also heard that the First Order are planning for their final battle, and they're trying to thwart them any way possible. But they're found out eventually by the First Order, so they managed to outrun them. While Rey, back at the Resistance base where she was training, and then she heard voices from the Jedi past and but also she receives a vision about her going dark side. So that makes her really scared. Oh, and by this point, Leia is training her, which is cool because we don't see Leia doing anything with the Force. I mean, the only thing we saw was in Last Jedi when she spaced Superman back into the ship, but that's all we see. And her friends, Poe and all them, they come back in the Millennium Falcon. They're going to another planet because Luke himself was actually trying to find the Sith planet so that he could stop the dark side forever, basically. But he wasn't able to because something happened on that planet that prevented that. So they all go to look for the clue on the planet, and they find like this artifact that tells them which way to go. And I'm only telling you this because the only person that does translate, the only thing that translates it is C-3PO, but he couldn't say it out loud because it's a Sith language. But if he translated it, he would have his memory erased, which is kind of weird. But I mean, so they had to take him. They were going to take him to another planet from Poe's past, where he ran away from, and he had a bounty on his head, basically. But before that, Kylo Ren shows up on that planet, which is the desert planet in the trailer that we see, and that he's zooming with his TIE interceptor and going after Rey. But it's at that time where Chewbacca was captured in a troop transport, and Rey was trying to save him by just using the Force and just bringing it back. But Kylo Ren was trying to get it himself to push Rey even harder. So hard, in fact, that lightning bolts came out. I think you know where this is going. So, lightning bolts came out and she destroyed the ship. But fortunately, later on, after we find out, the heroes find out on the other planet where they crack C-3PO to find out where the planet is. Rey finds out that Chewie is alive and well on Kylo Ren's Starship Destroyer. But this is why it turned around for C-3PO for me, because he was in risk of losing his memory, and when he wouldn't remember his friends. So he actually, it was touching that he said, he was just like standing there, not talking at one point, and they were like, "What are you doing?" He's just like, "I'm just having a last final look of my friends before I go." So I thought that was deep and really touching. But they managed to fix him, and he reboots, and obviously for a little bit of time he's just like born and he doesn't know who everybody is. So then after that, once they figure out where the planet is, then they decide, okay, we got to rescue Chewie. We got to get him from that Star Destroyer. So they plan a mission to get him out, and they do. Rey has another a vision with Kylo Ren, like you know how in The Last Jedi how they have that bond where it's just like seems realistic. That's actually how he found them on that planet. From that, he finds out where they are because she destroys the pedestal that has the Darth Vader mask. He's like, "They're in my quarters, lock it down." All of them managed to escape on the Falcon that was confiscated, and Rey manages to escape from Kylo Ren's grasp after that. And she tries to talk some sense into him at that point, and she knows that, I know you're still in there. Basically, it's the same with Luke, with Vader. It's like, he's like, "I know my father's still in there. I know you can change." Rey is doing the same to Kylo Ren, or Ben. And obviously he's like still resistant. So they eventually go to the planet, the same kind of tracker that Kylo Ren used to find the planet of the Sith where Palpatine is. and that planet, that was pretty cool, because that planet was actually where the remains of the Death Star were. So that's where they find the tracker, and after she finds the tracker, Kylo Ren gets the tracker, crushes it in his hand, and he's like, no one's gonna find it now. So him and Rey have a lightsaber battle on the sea in the wreckage. And what else happened was she gained the upper hand. Actually, she only gained the upper hand because Leia, for one final act, she used most of her energy to get through to her son, Ben, Kylo Ren. And he felt that, and it caused him to hesitate, where Rey stabbed him in the chest with his own lightsaber. I guess Rey felt that too. I forgot to mention earlier, she healed a creature at the desert planet with her force powers. Now, nobody has been able to do that. You know, aside from the Star Wars comics, you've heard about that, or like from Palpatine saying in Episode 3 that the Sith Lord was able to create life. Like, he was able to manipulate life, and Rey is doing that. Like, she heals Kylo Ren, and then she leaves in his ship, which has the other tracker. So she leaves in his ship, and then Kylo Ren's left alone, and he actually has a heart-to-heart with his dead father, Han Solo. Basically, that was the scene that turned him around, that turned Kylo Ren around. Kylo Ren first said, "The Ben you know is dead." And Han Solo was like, no, Kylo Ren is dead. My son Ben is very much alive. And it was a very touching scene. I'm glad they had brought back Harrison Ford just for that, because this movie, I'm gonna say it full out. This movie had pretty much almost every character in the Star Wars universe come back in this one. And I love that scene, because that was the one with Leia giving up her life to reach her son, and Han Solo, his father, coming back from the, well, I mean, he's still dead, but coming back and just telling him in a vision, you know, this evil's dead in you. You're my son. You're alive. You're very much alive. So I thought it was very touching. So basically from there, Kylo Ren is dead, and Ben has come back. So the evil is dead in Ben. So cut back to Rey. Rey lands back on the planet where Luke was. Oh, this is important. I forgot to say this. Kylo Ren told her something very important. Now, you remember back when I said she shot the lightning from her hands? Well, Kylo Ren told her that she is Palpatine's granddaughter. That, I was not expecting that at all. But it made sense, because he's the only one that does that. But also, it made me think Count Dooku, but Count Dooku was basically Palpatine's main guy back in the prequels. His main Sith Master Lord, whatever you want to call it. He taught him to shoot lightning from his hands. So, but it was just still shocking. Yeah, I know that's a pun, but so she goes mad. She goes not totally crazy, but she goes a little bit crazy that she lands back on the planet where Luke was reclused, and then she just basically destroys the ship, and she's just like, I can't do it. I'm giving up, and she throws the lightsaber in the fire, and then Luke's ghost catches it, and he tells Rey that, what are you doing? You gotta handle this with care first. But basically what they say is like, well, I'm just gonna stay here. She was like, I'm just gonna stay here like you did. And he was like, I made a mistake. I ran away like a coward, basically. And it's like, I don't want that for you. you can do this, Rey. And basically, it was a throwback. It was a throwback to Dagobah. He basically just used the Force to raise his X-wing fighter out of the water, which was a cool moment. It was a cool moment. So she flies off to that planet, and basically everybody else in the Resistance, Poe, Finn, and Chewie, and them find out where the planet is from her, and they decide to do an all-out attack and try to get anybody and everybody as possible, because they realized the one thing the Empire had power over them was fear. It's like, we can't fear. We gotta have hope. I know there's people out there that want this to end, want this evil to end. So, to mention too, it's just so much in this movie. I forgot to mention too, back on the desert planet, they ran back into Lando Calrissian, and he's back with the Resistance, and he asks them, Poe Dameron asks him to find anybody, send out a beacon to any neighboring planets that we need help in this final attack. So basically, this is where the end of the movie is the final battle, where all the Resistance fighters are fighting against the tens of thousands of Star Destroyers, which each Star Destroyer has their own planet-destroying cannon. So it's basically, that was Palpatine's plan, is like destroy everything. Destroy every planet that resists us, and that's why it's like such an epic, we have to stop them or else everything we know ceases to exist. And it's the same with like Rey facing her grandfather, Palpatine. One of the cool things too, when she was talking with Luke's ghost, is she's afraid, like he asked, what are you really afraid of? And she said, myself. Of who I am. I'm a Palpatine. And Luke just said, blood is, it doesn't matter by blood. It just matters where your heart is, basically. You know, basically who her family isn't determined by blood, is what he said. He knew that she can face her fears. She can step up and face her grandfather as a Jedi in the name of hope. And so she does, and Palpatine does the same thing, says the same thing like he did in The Return of the Jedi. It's like, kill me so that you can be the Sith Lord, the Sith Empress, basically. And she didn't want to kill him. Alright, so basically, we're at the final battle. It's the Resistance is trying to break communication with all the ships so they won't be able to leave the planet, because they have like a guidance system. And they have a limited number of Resistance. The Resistance army is very limited compared to the thousands of Star Destroyers. While Rey is confronting Palpatine. From there, eventually Ben actually gets there to help Rey defeat Palpatine. So it had a cool fight scene. I'm not going to describe too much of it, but I'll just say that Ben just wrecks his Knights of Ren, and he catches up to Rey and Palpatine, and then basically Palpatine absorbs their force, some of their force power, so that he could be fully regenerated and fully powerful. And with that, he basically, it's so overkill, he basically puts his hands to the sky where the battle's taking place, and he fires like the craziest lightning storm to destroy, well, not destroy, but to power down every ship where they're just like falling. And Rey realizes that she needs to do something to overpower him. So, because basically Palpatine is using all his powers of the dark side. And so this is where it comes in that Rey, they mentioned earlier in the movie, she has thousands of generations of Jedi that are going to help her. This is when light side of the Force. Just she takes control of all of that, and she basically stops Palpatine in an epic way. And so, from that, she seemingly appears. She seemingly appears like she's barely alive, and so Ben, realizing this, he uses his power, his power from the Force, to do the same thing that Rey did to him, to heal her, to bring her back to life. But sadly, that was the last of Ben's life force. So he passes away. His body disappears, and he's one with the Force, and as well as Leia. So that to me was a great moment, because it is reminiscent of how Darth Vader is redeemed, but I feel like this is more impactful, that he gave up his own life force to save Rey, and that he could finally be with the forces of light. So basically, after Palpatine is defeated, I forgot to mention that when it seemed like all hope was lost for the Resistance, Lando has led like thousands and thousands of people come to help to defeat the Empire, and eventually, after Palpatine is defeated, they regain control back of their ships, and they wreck house. They destroy all the Star Destroyers, and the galaxy is safe from the Empire. The Empire is no more. I mean, it doesn't show anybody surviving that, or show anybody from another ship, or when they come back to their base. No, it just the Empire's utterly destroyed after that. So they all come back to their home base. They all celebrate, and this was a cool scene. It was just like everybody was just celebrating. It's like, yes, we finally defeated evil, basically. And it had a really good nod at the end too, where one of the Resistance soldiers went to Chewie and they said, General Leia wanted to give you this, and it was a medal. Now, if you guys don't know this is a throwback to the first Star Wars movie, not Episode 1. This is from A New Hope, and what happened with that is basically, after they defeat the first Death Star, only Luke and Han Solo get medals. Chewie never gets a medal, and so I give props to J.J. Abrams on this, because he really paid attention. Like, he was really trying to give fan service all over the place. I mean, there's a lot more that I can tell you. Like with Rey, when she had inspiration. When she had the thousands of generations to help her, you heard all the different Jedis of Republic past, and then some more. Basically, anybody we knew that was a Jedi was talking to Rey, like, all at once. So it was a cool moment. But yeah, this movie does have a lot of Easter eggs, has a lot of throwbacks, which I really love. I love how they pay homage to the original series, basically all of the Star Wars universe, any of the movies. So she basically, Rey basically, after all that celebrating, she basically goes to Tatooine, where Luke lived with his his aunt and uncle, the same house, and she went there to bury his and Leia's lightsaber because Leia did train as a Jedi, and she had her own lightsaber. Um, but she buried him because it was kind of like a sacred. It was like a sacred thing. Like she basically made that place a temple to those Jedi past that have helped shape her into who she was today. And it ends on that, but before it ended, somebody, I don't know who it was, it's just some lady, just ran into Rey at that place. It's like, I haven't seen anybody here in a long time. Who are you? And she's like, who am I? I'm Rey. And then she says, Rey Skywalker. Because it just goes back to what Luke was saying, like, family isn't always about blood. It's about the people you care about the most. The people, your family. They are your family. So she just says, I'm Rey Skywalker. Even though technically she's Palpatine, but she's like, no, the Skywalker name is going to carry on, basically, by the end of that movie. So it ends on that, and what an ending. What a way to wrap it all up. Now, I am so happy it did all that. It was just a great movie. Now, it wasn't like, I guess part of me was like, I wish they had done more with it. Maybe I could tell you guys later, like, some of the things I thought, but I think they did. I think J.J. Abrams did a really good job on this. Now, he just touched on like the metal, like I said, like that little thing that you wouldn't think, but he touched on that. So many other things he touched about Star Wars past. The more I think about it, I'm gonna give. I like, after I watched it the first time, I'm like, okay, this is like an 8 out of 10. But the more I think about it, okay, I'm gonna jump it up to 9, because although like I just said, some parts weren't perfect. Like the pacing wasn't that great. It was okay, but it wasn't consistent pacing. It was just like slow, fast, in areas that didn't need to be. That was just my main gripe with it. But other than that, the way the story was written, the way the script was written, just to kind of, because part of it was trying to undo the mistakes in Last Jedi, which I could talk about at another great length, but there's another time for that. But he did his best to correct that, and I really think this is a great way for the Skywalker universe to wrap up. Now, will there be any more Star Wars? At this point, I think not anytime soon, but I would be excited to hear about, I don't know, because I know they did, like, they've created, like, not prequels, but like different other movies. Like I loved Rogue One, like the in between episode 3 and episode 4, like how that it's just when you watch episode 4 and they say, like, these spies died giving their lives to give us this information about the Death Star. I wouldn't think they would make a movie of that, but they did, and it was amazing. I love that movie. And Solo, actually gotta watch that. Don't hate me, guys, but I gotta watch Solo. So, but like I said, I could definitely still see a future with Star Wars. They're bringing back Star Wars. It's just they have to do it in a way that either I don't know. Maybe go back. This is what I would like. I would like for them to go beyond, past the Skywalker saga, like in the past, maybe like the Old Republic. I mean, that would be fascinating. I would love that. Or maybe like sometime in the future, like maybe, I don't know. It'd just be hard to do it more in the future because it's like, you know, the Sith are dead. The Sith are gone, as it seems. So it could be set in a different galaxy. Maybe, I don't know. a lot of my friends thought like, oh, maybe they should bring it to Earth. I'm like, well, I think we would be totally unprepared, and it's honestly, Star Wars is fantasy, because it's like, not as much as we wish it, as much as I wish it, we don't have Force powers. So I mean, there's no Force as much as we try to make it, but there is the symbolism of good versus evil, so that exists. That does exist. It's just I mean, you know what the point of movies is. It's like to entertain us, you know. It doesn't have to be totally set in reality, you know. It could be fantasy. I mean, like my other biggest franchise that I love is the Marvel movies, the Avengers and all that. Like, some of it could be real, but obviously most of it is just fantasy. So it's like, it's highly entertaining. You know, we grow and love all these characters. Like I love every character of this trilogy now. I love their different aspects, their different attitudes, but they all had the same goal. Like my favorite character growth was Ben, Kylo Ren. Just how he was redeemed after he was fighting so hard to be the most powerful, and just his redemption and him sacrificing himself to save Rey. That is my favorite part of the movie, by far. Just watching his character grow through that in just one movie. I mean, yes, we know he struggled in Last Jedi, but you definitely see the full spectrum of, like, he is so intent on destroying the Jedi that he's going to destroy any opposing authority figure in the Sith. From that to him realizing, like, his mom, okay, Leia was another one too. Leia gave up her life for him, so and just Han Solo's part, even though it was a short part, it was, you can't have that movie without that part, in my opinion. You can't. So like I said, I'm gonna give this a 9 out of 10. It's a perfect way to wrap up the Star Wars universe, at least in the Skywalker saga. And I can't wait. I can't wait for more. I mean, it may not happen for a long time, but I mean, I could try to tie myself over on the Mandalorian if I can. But yeah, this is what I think of the movie, guys. So if you have any comments, if you have anything to add to this, just put it in the comment below. But obviously, like I said, if you haven't seen the movie, go see the movie. It is an awesome movie. It is a must-watch. In my opinion, it's going to be a must-own for me. So, yeah, share this video, subscribe if you're new. You know, just put the thumbs up, you know, and just let me know what y'all think. So, this is where we say goodbye. Not just to the franchise, but, you know, just to this YouTube video. I'm sorry, I'm getting a little sappy. So, thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate all the love and support. And this is Emrod signing off.